this was also found in that cave. Right? This is a pyramid in a stone with this idea of steps, and on the top is this all-seeing eye. So the eye represents enlightenment, or the creative God. Here again, we see it as a golden capstone. On the right-hand side is the Masonic symbol, exactly the same. This is 10,000 years ago, but for some reason, the esoteric knowledge of this has found its way onto a dollar bill. Now, you know that some of your presidents were Freemasons. And the Freemasons supposedly were keepers of ancient truths. Now, like everything, I'm not going to advocate Freemasons as enlightened people, but what I would say is that they had access to knowledge that was not available to all. But why is it that the symbol that here is 10,000 years old is here? And the fact that it's on a dollar bill, we know it was George Washington, I think, that was one of the founders here of the Freemasons. But now look, I mentioned to you at the beginning that these priests, these Atlantean priests, went across. Now these are the pyramids in Mexico, just outside Mexico City. And they are on exactly the same latitude, if you know your geography, as the pyramids at Giza. This is the pyramid of the sun, this is the pyramid of the moon. Now, obviously I haven't been to Giza, but I've been fortunate enough to go to the pyramids in Mexico. And the Pyramid of the Sun, this is the second largest pyramid in the world after the Pyramid of Giza. So for some reason, the knowledge that existed was exactly the same. But obviously, they had to be created according to the people in South America, rather than the people in Egypt, so it was slightly different. But I want to show you something. If you look at the pyramid on the right, I took that picture. On the top, historians have said that there was a temple, and that in it there was a burning flame that would exist constantly. It was something that would be a burning light that was always there. So in Egypt it was a golden capstone. Here it was a light that never went out. But even more than that, remember I said the Sphinx in ancient Egyptian means the living image of the self-created God. Here, from the front of the Pyramid of the Sun, you can see the steps up to the top. But what you can also see is the body of a man, or a human. Like it's symbolic. You can see the feet, you can see the legs, and then the hips, and then the trunk. And then inside the top of the trunk, you can see a square representation of the heart. And then you can see the arms standing out. Then you can see the neck, and what would be, where the temple is, the head. So enlightenment comes into this eye, this one eye. The eye at the top of the pyramid. So the pyramid, in that sense, represents the journey back up to enlightenment. Easy. Now some of you will know, obviously everybody here knows the image in the background, but the image in the background is Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And what I've done is laid over the ancient symbol of the Enneagram on top of it. What you can see that there's Leonardo's original circle, and then there's the square. And then what this actually means is that it's the Vitruvian Man is the idea of the human of divine proportions. And what that means is that the square and the circle representing the heavenly sphere, the square representing Earth. That in Earth, you have the possibility of a man, but in the heavens you have the possibility of enlightenment. So here we see that earth and heaven meet in a human, or can meet in a human. I should say can meet. Now what I've done is I've taken this ancient symbol of the Enneagram of 9 points, which represent the planets, or in the solar system. And you can see that it's quite a good match. But where we see the head cut through on the Enneagram is the principle of the sun. So again we see the third eye. But this triangle which I've coloured in, is not necessarily shown in the Enneagram of 9, because it's something that's higher in that sense, that Pluto, Uranus and Neptune, these planets have an orbit outside the life of a human being, so we can't use those in the Enneagram. So we get the 7 days of the week, or we get the 7 body types, but we don't get the Uranial body type, or the Pluto body type, or the Neptunian body type. So they are of a higher order. So the ascension of the pyramid is a higher thing. You see that? You have to go higher to go into the inner triangle. And in the inner triangle, where we find solar, it crosses through the game where the eye is. So some way inside this triangle, or this face of the pyramid, is the path to enlightenment.